my God, guys. Oh my God. MJF has officially turned back to the MJF of old, to the MJF from 2019 up until last year before he turned face, before he turned face doing his teamship with Adam Cole. MJF is back to the vicious scumbag, the vicious guy that everyone knows and that everyone loved. And my goodness, what a way to end Dynamite on a really stacked night. I mean, Beach Break was insane tonight. We seen the return of Hangman Adam Page. That's the other thing I want to talk about. Hangman Adam Page is back. You figured he would be the wild card that the Elite would pick to as the guy that was going to face Jeff Jarrett. But what's even more interesting about this return from Hangman is the fact that although he seems to have come back as a heel, which he was already acting that way before he left at Revolution, he tried to stop the ref multiple times from Swerve winning the triple threat with Samoa Joe, and he actually tapped out really quickly while being put in a Kakita clutch so that Swerve wouldn't win the title. Um, and so that's the last we've seen of him because he was dealing with a personal issue. But now he's back with new theme music. Actually, music is not too bad. He's not coming with the same music he's had this whole time. He's been in Dynamite as the cowboy. The fans, of course, were cheering for what they say when he comes in the ring. Not going to repeat it, but they were chanting what they say when he comes in the ring with the cowboy gimmick. But he had the same gear, but you could see in his face he looked intense. And, between him, the excitement with him, and just the viciousness he gave to Jeff Jarrett in their match, the fact that, even after he won the match, he still was attacking Jeff Jarrett. He had a lot of beatdowns going on tonight. Heyman beating Jeff Jarrett, um, you know, and keeping him out of his misery, even telling the Young Bucks that they're not his puppet because they said we scratch your back. Now we want you to scratch ours. They try to get him as the fifth man, which I really anticipated that would be the case, but that's not what happened. Instead, it's very interesting because he told them, he was gonna win the Owen Hart's tournament, so he's not even focused at all on being the fifth man on Blood and Guts. Is this a ruse? Is he still gonna end up being the extra person on their team? Who knows? Because this definitely seems to be a more vicious, aside of Hangman we haven't seen AEW. They teased it back in 2020 that he was going to be the one to turn on the Elite, but it ended up being Kenny Omega who turned heel first when they were teaming together. But they teased at their classic tag match at Revolution against the Young Bucks in 2020. But but man, I mean, my goodness, viciousness from Heyman, viciousness from MJF, which you kind of figured it. I think the whole MJF and Danny Garcia thing, that was just a ruse to build up to the bigger match of MJF and Will Ospreay because they touched each other before, even before Forbidden Door. They stared each other down. And just last week, Will Ospreay upstaged MJF when MJF, you know, cut the promo with Danny saying, he would challenge him at All In, and before Danny could really accept it, so Ospreay came out and told him he would put both his titles on the line. That is, of course, if he won the AEW title, which he did win against Swerve. He was to put both titles on the line, and that's initially, he of course didn't put both. He put the international title, and so MJF just kind of stood there, completely not happy with Ospreay getting in there. And then he told him, don't worry about it. It's a big match for you. Then he comes out on the side with Garcia, and this is how I kind of knew something was gonna happen. Because it was going on for too long. He tries to get him to use the diamond ring. He doesn't want to use it. He anticipates on whether or not he's going to use it. and then he gets hit with a hidden blade, because ultimately he doesn't use it, so he gets hit with the hidden blade and loses the match, and Ospreay retains his AEW International Championship. And so after the match, you know, he hugs them. He said, "You still did good," and all seems well. And then typical MJF, same thing he did to Cody Rhodes at Full Gear 2019 when he threw in the towel, when Cody was putting the walls, and looked like he was sincerely, upset for Cody, like he, sincerely felt bad for Cody, only to hit him with a low blow. But this time he took it even further. He hit him with a low blow. He hit a he hit, what is that move called? Power driver from the top rope to Danny Garcia's neck. Clocked him with the diamond ring. First he clocked Daddy Magic. No, not Daddy Magic. Is that, which one is? What is it? Matt Bernard. I always get them mixed up. The not the faces, but the names. He clocked him with the diamond ring first. Um, um, yeah, he clocked him with the diamond ring first. He was busted open. Then he clocked Danny Garcia with it, and he just kept beating him and kept beating him. He spit on them a couple of times. He got into it with the fans. You know, um, he just really took it to the extreme. I think you could pretty much see where this was going. Especially how he was reacting last week. I think, MJF first came back at Double or Nothing and attacked Adam Cole and took him out. He already seemed like a tweener, because he literally said in that promo, like, he's not going to be nice anymore. He's not going to do this. He's not going to do that. He said that in his promo. So it's, the only thing is that, he still kind of was acting like a tweener up to this point, or like an anti-hero babyface. But now the MJF of old is back, and you figured that he was not going to be a babyface if they were anticipating him and Ospreay at All In. Danny Garcia was just kind of like there, and I do think they would have had a good match. But the money match is MJF and Ospreay. I think Danny Garcia was just kind of there, and they were going to kind of use him as a way, for MJF just to turn back heel, which he really kind of already was. Because when he came back, he literally said, like, he's not going to be nice to anybody anymore, he's not going to trust anybody anymore, or anything, because that was the whole reason he became a babyface. Because he put trust in Adam Cole, and that was something he hadn't put in anybody. And when Adam Cole betrayed him at World's End, that completely, messed him up. Because Adam Cole was like the first person for him that he could call a friend. And when Adam Cole betrayed him, he felt like deflated, like that was a change for him in character. And so the kangaroo kicks, all that stuff he was doing, so he's not doing any of that anymore. So you kind of figured it was going to happen, but this Dynamite was stacked. I mean, Beach Break really lived up to it. Also to mention, we didn't see any more shenanigans from Don Callis' family, as Ospreay told Don Callis he no longer wanted to be a part of the family. We also seen Jericho the learning tree multiple times. He actually got Taz sent off commentary so he can get on commentary. Right after they beat their guys in a 6-man tag, then they took, after he watched Samoa Joe, Taz, Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata win their 6-man tag, then they attacked them and just kept beating up Hook took him out. Um, uh, Brian Keefe took a chair, stomped it on Shibata's arm the same way they did his arm on Collision. Then they went even further and just took Hook out. And then backstage it showed now Jericho's back to doing that fireball stuff again. He threw the fire into Hook's eyes backstage when they were checking him because he took Hook out. It was actually Big Bill who took and chokeslam Hook through a table while they were in the ring. And so when they were checking him in the back, when Renee Raquel was checking him in the back, then he put the fireball on him. So this was just insane. They gave a beat down, complete beat down on Hook, Joe, and Shibata. Hook took the worst of it because he got put through a table and hit by a fireball backstage. Shibata got hit in the arm. So you had that going on. Hangman, like I said, is back. Which is kind of the vocal point of this video between me talking about him and MJF. Hangman's back. Very interested to see where they go with this one, Hangman. Because he's definitely a heel at this point, but, does he side with them at Blood and Guts? Does he not? He says he just seems more focused on just winning the match. Mercedes is definitely a heel, which she already kind of was even before she got booed at Forbidden Door. They're going towards her and Britt Baker at All In. Britt Baker shared a really heartfelt story of why she'd been gone for so long. Some of the things she was dealing with health-wise, but now she's better. Mercedes coming up with all these celebrations, and then, she told her she wanted to face her All In. That they're setting that up, which should be very interesting. Very good sight, between them. Things have not been looking too good for Mercedes since she's been in AEW, but I think this program here is going to be very interesting for her and Britain. It's definitely nice to see Britt Baker back. I hope Jamie Hayter can come back soon too, because she's been gone for some time. Lynn Nightingale advanced, beating Chris Stanlander in the Owen Hart's tournament. So it was definitely a lot. After the shenanigan Stokely Hathaway tried to pull backfired on Chris Stanlander, beating, Will Agnew. She actually beat her with a roll-up. So Bryan Danielson actually opened the show on a banger with Pac. And he beat Pac with a crucifix pin in their match that was just completely off the charts, especially when Pac hit that brainbuster from the top rope. Really just amazing match between these guys as you would expect. So it looks like it's going to be, Hangman and Jay White in the semifinals, quarterfinals, whichever one you call it. And Bryan Danielson, he's got on his side, I think he was going against Bud. So it's going to be very interesting, the finals with that. But the show was definitely all over the place. The only thing that was missing was the AEW chant. Not sure why they left Swerve off the show. It's just very strange how his title ring has been. Like some shows he's not even featured, or they feature him, midway through the show. It's just a little bit weird. You would think you would have the champion on the show, after having that, big match with Ospreay, but the focus still seems to be on everybody but the actual champion, which to me it really doesn't make a lot of sense. So no sign of Swerve, not even a promo cut from him at all. The only thing they showed was the match he had with Ospreay, but it's just a little bit strange they kept him off the show. So that would be my only nitpick with the show, is that they didn't actually have the champ on the show for some odd reason. But other than that, man, I mean, the show was definitely intriguing. It was a lot going on. It was a lot happened. So that's pretty much it, because I think I covered most of just about everything that happened in that. A lot of beat downs, this MJF thing, though, he's definitely back to. And the funny thing is, the fans are actually chanting, "He's a scumbag," just like he would say in his face, like, "I'm your scumbag," and he's chanting that again. And so this is going to be very interesting. This whole thing here, very interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Sign off. Subscribe. Actually, I forgot to mention. Yeah, Mark Briscoe got beat up too by the Elite before the Acclaim came out to save him. So it was just a lot happening. Oh man, sign off. Effects. Like, subscribe to the